So, how are you guys doing today?
Good.
Good?
Thanks. You?
Good. Very good. It's raining, but
Which is great in LA.
I know. I miss the rain. I really do.
Yeah.
So Vox Lux starts in a very jarring way. And I'm wondering if the script started that way and what your thoughts were on the first read-through.
Yeah, the script did start that way. Like, it was a pretty reading. It was like, whoa, already we're there. But I think that made the script like so much more interesting. There wasn't, trying to get the audience to settle in, or it's just giving it to them as it was. So yeah, I guess that's what I thought. That was a really interesting thing to do on Brady's part.
Yeah, Brady, when we first talked about the film before I even read it, he said, my first film happened between World War I and World War II, and this film, I wanted to think, what are the defining wars of our era, because there's not sort of conventional war in our country, at least, and he was saying that, we sort of have this civil war of, like, school shootings and this foreign war of terror attacks, and that's kind of, those are the wars that we're living with, and that this story kind of bridges those and has to do with how we're interacting with the violence that we live in our culture. And that was really, really interesting to me, to that he put a pop star in the middle of it, because you see really the relationship between pop culture and violence.
It was interesting that this movie has a lot of shots where the camera is sort of following you. It's sort of a long take where the camera is behind your backs and you're just having a conversation. I'm wondering what you thought that added to the film and what that does for your performance, having the camera behind you while you sort of just interact with your environment in front of you.
I love it because it allows, I love having these long takes, because then you can do the scene in its entirety, and so it's kind of like theater almost. And then having it behind you, it always kind of puts the viewer in the character's head, because they're seeing the world as you see it. I mean, behind you, but still, they've got your point of view. So it's a great. I always like it in relation to the audience, because I feel like they can relate to you more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool. I've thought about it, but I think I always talk about this because I love it. But the diner scene was my favourite scene. To do, and is one of my favourites in the film, because we were just kind of given, this script, dialogue, and it was such a long take and he just let us completely go through it, no cuts, and the camera was behind our heads, which I haven't thought of that, puts the audience in your perspective, which is cool, yeah.
And you also both have scenes that include very intense choreography, dance choreography, but there's also a sense that you're very much acting too as you dance. There's a performance going on besides the dance, and I'm wondering how you balance that in your head. You have to remember the steps, you have to remember the dance steps, but you're also a character. You're also living in this character's head.
Well, I was quite lucky because my choreography wasn't supposed to be fully nailed, because she was still kind of new to the whole industry. So I could kind of focus more on the character as opposed to the dancing. But I guess it's in one, the character is dancing, and you're living their life. You don't usually dance. So I just.
And yours was a lot more intense.
Yeah, I think with anytime there's like a physical thing or even an accent that you have to do, I feel like you just rehearse it until you can't rehearse anymore. You just do it until it's second nature, and then you can just be in the scene. So that's what I did. I just worked on it a lot.
Amazing. I thought it was interesting that there's two scenes, one with younger Celeste, one other, where they makes a point to mention that she lost her hotel key. And I was wondering if there was any sort of larger theme to that, or if that was just sort of a way of displaying what kind of person she is.
For me, it wasn't like a metaphor. It was just kind of like a typical, the kind of person who's used to other people doing stuff for them all the time. It infantilizes you in a way and makes you like a kid when you're losing stuff. I mean, and it's kind of, that's what happens around famous people a lot, I think, is just there's a lot of people allowing the person to be irresponsible and like a kid.
And I really like the line that you said. It's I don't want people to think too hard. I just want them to feel good. We're talking about pop music, but you both don't do a lot of fluff. The movies you do are very, very in-depth and very, very intelligent. I'm wondering what your perspective is on that line. Is there is truth to it, but at the same time, it's an odd way to look at art. I'm just wondering how you guys feel about that line.
Well, I love pop music, and I think that's probably why, like, you don't have to. There's so many things that you do have to properly, engage with and think. But with pop music, you just, listen and relax. So I feel like I took that quite literally. Like, you literally do just listen and relax. So I don't know if I had much of a deeper understanding of that.
Yeah, I think that it's really about pop culture in general. That sort of that's the like one-line version of why it exists, and I think there's like purpose for all of it. Like I know with myself, there's times that I just want to like you were saying, kind of just chill out and not have like some kind of like extreme emotional or intellectual response to something, and then there's times that I really need something that I like engage with, or that like challenges me, or makes me like think about it or feel about it for weeks, and I think that there's room for all of it.